The image provided is a bar graph that gives information about the average annual precipitation. The x-axis gives information about the continents such as Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, Oceania, and South America, while in the y-axis it gives information about the precipitation in millimeters from 0 to 1,600. From the image, we have the highest precipitation in South America with 1,600 millimeters, and the lowest one is from Africa with 500 millimeters. Overall, this image shows important information about average annual precipitation.
This picture gives information about average annual precipitation. The vertical axis is related to continent and the horizontal axis is related to precipitation. It also shows different continents such as Asia, Europe, and North America. The highest number is 1,600, which is related to South America, and the highest number is 500, which is related to Africa. To conclude, the data points to average annual precipitation, highlighting the significance of each continent.
The bar chart is about the average annual precipitation. As you can see, the highest amount experienced in South America, which is 1600 millimeters. The second place comes to Oceania, which is 1000 millimeters. On the other hand, Asia only experienced around 500 750 millimeters, which is lower amount. The lowest amount of precipitation experienced in Europe, which is only 400 millimeters. Overall, it's about the average annual precipitation.
The provided image is a bar graph that gives information about average annual perception. X-axis talk about content, whereas y-axis talk about perception in millimeters. Firstly, it is evident that the maximum value was covered by South America with 1600 mm, whereas minimum value was covered by Africa with 500. Another interesting point of this pie chart paragraph is Asia with 750 mm, talking about Europe with 603 mm, and moving further toward North America 720. If I talk about Oceania, it was nearly 1030 mm.
The given picture provides information about average precipitation. The subtopics of the picture is average annual precipitation. From the picture, it is clear that on the y-axis, it is precipitation in millimeter, which is 200 from 1600, while on x-axis, there is continents such as Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, Oceania, and South America. From the picture, it is obvious that South America is at maximum at 600 millimeter, while Africa is in minimum, which is 500 millimeter. From the picture, it is obvious that the picture is about average precipitation.
This image gives information about average annual continent. From the picture, we can see there's a lot of numbers and words. The image highlights Africa, Asia, and Europe. This picture is so informative, and the highest figure belongs to South America, followed by Oceania, and the lowest figure belongs to Africa, followed by Europe. To sum up, the picture tells about average annually continent.
The topic was mainly about average annual precipitation. There is a lot of information in this picture. There are various such aspects as Africa, Asia. Firstly, we can see that Europe and North America. Secondly, we can see that Oceania and South America. There is a lot of information in this picture. The highest ratio is South America on the upper sides, and the lower side of Africa, Asia, and Europe. The much ratio side is North America. Overall continent is very best.
This table gives information about average annual precipitation. The first column is Africa and the last column is Asia. It also shows different numbers such as 0 and 200. The highest number is 400, which is related to Europe, but the lowest number is 600, which is related to North America. Finally, I can see Oceania and South Africa.
This is a bar graph which explains about the average annual rain precipitation among each continents. We have seven continents updated towards the right, which is with Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, Oceania, and South America. That is the continent. Towards the left, it has a precipitation which has been updated with mm. It starts with 0 and ends with 1600. Interestingly, what we can say over here is South America is the one which has always been touched with 1600 mm. This shows that there is a lot of heavy rainfall and the precipitation of rain is very high in South America. And Asia and Africa are the one which is with least number, which is with 750 mm and 500 mm. And if we have to conclude, we can say that South America is the one which has been getting heavy rainfall. With this heavy rainfall, it can either.
The bar chart illustrates the information about average annual precipitation. X-axis represents the continent with different countries: Asia, Africa, North America, Oceania, and South America. And y-axis represents precipitation in millimeter, which is 0, 200, 400, 1000 to 1600. So it can be noted that the maximum contribution is done by South America, which is 1600 millimeters, and minimum by Africa, which is 500 millimeters. Another highlighting feature is that Asia contributed to the second highest, which is 750 millimeter. Overall, it can be inferred that the South America.
The given image is a bar graph which gives information about the annual average precipitation. The x-axis talks about the continents while the y-axis talks about the precipitation. So according to this graph, the highest annual average precipitation is in South America, which makes up around 1600 millimeter, which is being followed by Oceania with 1030 millimeter, and then North America, which makes up around 720 millimeter. The lowest average precipitation is found in Africa, which is only 500 millimeters. So to sum up, this diagram talks about the annual average precipitation.
The bar graph gives the information about average annual precipitation. The data is given in words and numbers. It can be clearly evident that South America contributed more than 1600, which is the highest. Moreover, Europe and North America contributed more than 600. In addition, Africa contributed more than 4000, which is the lowest. Overall, the image looks very interesting and provide me a lot of information about average annual precipitation.
The bar graphs gives information about average annual participation. First point in the image about Africa, Asia and Europe. Furthermore, crucial information about North America, Pakistan, India, Oceania and South America. In these bar graphs, X line mention about countries like Africa, Asia, Europe, North America and South America. And Y line mention about numbers like 0%, 200, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1600. In conclusion, the bar graphs gives a lot of information about countries' percentage.
This bar chart compares average annual precipitation across different continents. South America saw the highest level at 1600 millimeters, followed by Asia at about 700 millimeters, followed by North America at 702 millimeters. The most significant decrease occurred in Africa at about 500 millimeters. The chart also provides data for Europe and Oceania. In conclusion, the bar chart indicates clear differences in average annual precipitation.
The image on the screen gives information about average annual precipitation, while x-axis talk about continent Africa, Asia, Europe, and y-axis talk about precipitation like 200, 400 in mm. So it can be observed that South America has the highest precipitation, and that is 1600 mm. And it can be noted that Africa has the least precipitation, and that is around 500 mm. Another highlighting feature is that Asia has more precipitation compared to Europe. So overall, it can be noted that average annual precipitation all over the country.